pretty soon they're going to have articles on what team has the most players driving cars that cost $100,000. I hear we got a couple maybe now. I hear a couple of our guys got some new wheels.
Yeah, they do.
But,
they do.
What a different day it is, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It is wild and weird. It is. It's just kind of. But again, you got a choice. You can either say, "Well, I'm never watching football again." Okay, we'll miss you.
Yeah.
But or you can say, "Hey, you got to get better at it. You got to do a better job at it."
That's right. What's fair for one team's fair for all.
Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Good show for you today. Coach Spurrier will be in here in a minute. Robbie Andrew will join us for Yes, No, Way, or Maybe. And we got all of our fun stuff that we always do, including our Campus USA Play of the Weekend. We got our new Hugh, Cain, Allstate, Mayham moment, all this stuff and more coming up. Don't forget, on Thursday, Wayne Peace is going to join us. Of course, great quarterback at the University of Florida, big part of the Gator legacy that we've been talking about. And we look forward to that, him coming on Thursday. It was a weird weekend because Friday and Saturday, man, it was so nice out. And when I say nice, I'm like, it was 88 and no humidity. Now that to us at this point in life is beautiful. But I guess my wife was explaining to me, she said the hurricane was sucking all the humidity away on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, but on Sunday it would be back. So I played golf on all those days, and yeah, she was dead right. But it was so nice to play. Made me almost think that we were ready for football season, and we are. So let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting five, brought to you by the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Of course, big speaker schedule plan for them. They've got so many great speakers. I am one of them, but that doesn't make it great. But I always introduce a guest. I'm looking forward to introducing Ernest Graham for the opener. The man Florida could not win without in 2001. Remember that. He missed 2 games with injuries. They lost. Those only 2 games they lost. So Ernest Graham, I look forward to talking to him. And, of course, Miles Graham is on the team. One of the many legacy players that Florida's got. They got another one this week, and they keep going really well on that. And we'll talk to Coach about that because most of the guys, I think almost all the guys, played for him and were recruited by him, and now they have sons that are that age. So they're coming here though, and that's good. Ben Hank's son is a 4 or 5-star, depends on who you look at, guy. I mean, Miles Graham was a 5-star, or a 4-star. It doesn't matter to me if you get a 4 or a 5-star. It really doesn't matter, and I'll talk about that later today on one of the other things we're doing. It's number 5 actually on this list. I was trying to look at number 4. I hate this when the paper just folds up a little bit and you can't see what you're supposed to be looking at. All right, let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. And again, if you want to join the Gainesville Quarterback Club, they are taking membership applications, and you can join long distance and just be on the Zoom. And I know a lot of people that do that. A lot of people have both. They'll go to the club, but then if things are dragging, they'll go home and watch it on Zoom. So it's really a cool thing, especially with the speaker schedule they've got this year, which is unbelievable. All right, let's start with number 1 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is it's football season. I can't say it slow enough because I don't want it to go too fast, but it is football season. Technically, it was the last Monday it's the first Monday where we can say, hey, there's football this weekend. Man, I screwed that up really bad. There are games. Now, I will say this. The games aren't great. Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Dublin doesn't do a whole lot for me. I will watch it until FSU gets a big lead. But and again, that's a noon game, so that'll be fun to watch. But the main thing is, even though it's a week 0 game, and there aren't many other the other games that really are not worthy of your eyes, to be honest with you. But it's football season. It's the beginning of it. It's the first games of the year, and then that means we're into the. As soon as the games are over on Saturday, we're into the next weekend, which brings us Thursday games and Monday games and Sunday games and Saturday a full schedule. And it's here, man. You ready? Let me know where you're going to be and what you're serving, because I'm thinking about tailgate. Now, my problem is I want to watch the noon game next week. I'm talking about Saturday, the Georgia-Clemson game. I want to watch that game, so I don't know. But I'm still thinking about getting out and doing some tailgating. All right, number 2 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. I'm calling all the speaking engagements I do this year, and I've done one already with Titletown Gators. I mentioned that the other day. I've got the Gainesville the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club is on Thursday of this week. And then, of course, next week I start with the Gainesville Quarterback Club every Tuesday, speaking and doing a scouting report for them. So it is still talking season for me. It's not talking season now for a lot of people because there's going to be games. But anyway, it's a long way of saying when I was introducing my speaking engagements as the Hope and Hype Tour for this year. The Hope and Hype Tour is this. Hope is alive in the Gator Nation. And we know it is. Majority of Gator fans. There's some that are out there going, I can't wait till Napier loses and we get rid of him and bring in another coach and start all over again. That ain't going to work, guys. You need to be all in on this coach. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, okay? And that's where the hype comes from. The hype is within the Gator Nation because you're only seeing players that you know about and you know what they can do. You're not seeing anybody else. You know, right now you haven't seen anybody else play football. I don't know how many of you watch spring games, but if you do, that's a problem we can work out. But it's been a while since you've seen a lot of guys play. That's my point. So it is hope and it is hype, and we'll see if it lives up to it. If it lives up to the hype, and if the hope is not worthless. I guess worthless isn't the right word, but if they're not worthy of your hope, these are all the things we're going to find out. So it is a Hope and Hype Tour. Let's get to number 3 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is the best thing about it. The best thing about college football starting this week is that we can just stop with the speculation and the lists. No, look, I'm the king of the list. You know that. I make lists more than anybody does. I love them. But we're at the point right now where we can let that go. I don't want to know who the top 100 players are, the top 30 players, or this, that, and the other. I don't want to know those anymore. Let's just watch football. That's the best thing about it. No more lists, no more predictions, no more teachers' dirty looks, nothing. We're done with all that. Let's get to some football. And I know it's not a great schedule Saturday, but it's going to be the following Saturday. So we'll ease into it. It's like going into the kids' pool to go swimming. You stick your feet in, you know, all right, it's not too cold. I think I can get in. Then next week you're jumping in head first. All right, let's get to number 4 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. And it's not like I'm knocking people who care so much about recruiting. I get it. I get why people do. And it is the lifeblood. And I know that an old saying is if it's recruiting's like shaving, you don't have to do it every day, but you'll look like a bum if you don't. There's a lot of, we all know how important recruiting is. And I'm not blaming people for being so into recruiting. But this story that moved this today, Boise State has named their starting quarterback, Maddox. I love the first name, by the way. And I would assume that he was named after Greg Maddux because it's MU or DDUX, and my dog was named after Maddux. Maddux Madsen is his name. And the only reason I even bring it up, so Boise State's naming their starting quarterback is not going to raise a lot. But the number one player in the country, according to the rankings, did not win the job. And he's been at Boise for 2 years, and that's Malachi Nelson. There was a big story on him, and I think because they assumed he would win the job, number one player in the country. How can he not win the job at Boise State? But he did. I don't know why. I don't know what the issues are. But, it's just, I thought about this because today, or yesterday, or maybe Friday, I can't remember what day it was, I was listening to somebody talking about a player who was at a school, and I wasn't sure who it was. I wasn't sure who they were talking about. But eventually it came to fruition that it was Jaden Rashada at Georgia. And they're saying late for meetings, doesn't do things right. The right way. He's literally like the fourth-string quarterback at Georgia, and they whatever money they spent to get him there, they probably will let him go after this year. And I'm not trying to beat him up, okay? I'm just saying, be careful about what you wish for and what you hope happens, because you never know what guys are going to look like. Look, Florida's having a good recruiting year. It's so funny because they get Ben Hanks' kid, and they went from 43rd to 20th in the recruiting rankings because of one player. And I'm like, well, he must be really good. But no, it's because people are still getting commitments. They're still gathering. And don't forget, the new world we're dealing with 105 scholarships and no walk-ons and all, 105 if you want to give those out. All these things are all playing into all of this, all of the things about recruiting. I'm a big believer in just being patient, waiting to see what your class is, what you do in the portal, and then, okay, that's what you did. And don't forget, none of these recruiting rankings include portal guys, or most of them don't, anyway. All right, finally, number 5 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is that this is the final week for exhibition football, and it will be really bad football. There are going to be a lot of backups, a lot of guys that you don't. And I will say this, every time, like we talked about the Saturday, how they were going to have a quadruple header, 4 straight games on the NFL Network, and every time I'd start watching one, and the third team quarterback would come in, and with a bunch of other scrubs, and I would just go, no, I'd rather find a movie or something. Exhibition football is terrible. It's just not any good, and there should be a way to do it. Now, the coaches will tell you, we don't even care if we play the games. All we want to do is have these scrimmages against other teams that are not videoed, and so I can run whatever offense I want to run because you don't have evidence that I ran this offense. So if you're playing a team you're not going to play during the season, especially, you're going to run whatever you want to run. And it's much more interesting on offense. But that's the biggest problem. We'll talk to Coach about that as well when he comes on in just a minute, and we'll do that. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right after we get out of here for just a couple of minutes. We'll bring on Coach Spurrier after this break. Gator fans, football season is here. What's better than seeing the Gators back on the field? Easy. Seeing amazing speakers and fellow Gator fans weekly at the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Held every Tuesday night of a home game at the Best Western Gateway Grand. Enjoy happy hour, great food, valuable insights from yours truly and Andy Staples, plus notable speakers throughout the season. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership at quarterbackclub.org or visit the quarterbackclub.org. Or better yet, just give me a call and I'll get you to the right people.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant. And you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tin Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Okay, and welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law is also the sponsor of our time with Coach Spurrier every Monday. We always love Meldon Mondays. And I know Coach is fired up. He's got notes and everything. You can tell it's football season when he's got notes all ready to go, ready to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting who people pick before the season starts. And, of course, most of them are wrong all the time. But anyway, I did some notes there. And a lot of people are picking Ole Miss to do very well.
Yep.
And Ole Miss has never won their division.
No.
And what did we start in 92?
92. Now we're out of it. Yeah, we're
so
done.
So it's been 32 years or so, 31, 32 years. Kentucky's never won a division. So there's so many teams that have never been to the championship game. We won a division at South Carolina, but our three best teams, we still were second in the division to Missouri twice and then Georgia once. We beat everybody in our division a couple of years, but we lost two on the other side. So anyway, it's always interesting to see who everybody's picking right now.
It is, and there's no summer loving for the Gators. I mean, there has been none of that.
No, we picked 10th in the SEC by the latest one.
Oh, I think this. I thought it said 13th on here.
You know, it did say 13 there.
Yeah.
But here, this is the American Statesman's pick.
Oh, okay.
They have 10 there, but 13 there. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, I sort of did my pick, and everybody says, want to know who you're picking. So
yeah.
Here's what I'm going to get out there right now. I'm going to pick Alabama to win the SEC.
Really?
Yeah. I like Jalen DeBoer, and I think their players and their team will say, we don't need our coach to win. We're good enough to win by ourselves. And this guy's a hell of a coach, Jalen DeBoer, and I think they got a schedule they can work with. But that'd be a huge game. I think they do play Texas early. Is that correct?
They do, yeah.
Okay. But obviously, they're Georgia, Texas, and Alabama are the top three. And I just think maybe Alabama will be the team to do it this year. And I'm going to pick the Gators to finish somewhere around 5th or 6th, win between 8 and 10 games, maybe 9, something like that. I think we have a lot of good players, and if we can beat Miami the first game and develop some confidence that we are good enough to win, and now let's go do it, maybe that'll sustain us throughout the course of the season.
Well, and that's interesting, but that is the big thing is people are talking about this Miami game, and I'm more of a believer that it is about Florida getting confidence. The one loss is I'm not saying it's inconsequential,
Right.
It matters, but it is about getting confidence for this team because their coaches believe they have a better team, and they need to go out there and win this game, and then everybody's going to say, oh, Florida's here.
We're here. Well, that's what happened 2 years ago. We beat Utah at home here, and everybody said, man, we're back in the rankings, and away we go.
They went way too high after that. They were 11th, I think.
Yeah, we did. We had a huge surge. But anyway, time will tell, and we got a week from this Saturday. So we'll see how it plays out. And watching those NFL preseason games, I tell you what, the teams are competing. They're going at it.
They are.
And, guys are trying to make the team. So there's a lot of scrambling quarterbacks I've been watching.
Yes.
And very few points. Yeah, offense is so difficult. I was watching all the defenses, Pat, on every team.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you talk about athletes that are big and strong and run about 4.4, 4.5. Everybody's got them. And it's just those quarterbacks go back, start running around. They don't know what to do. So it's it's a athlete, great athletes now compared to 30, 40 years ago when we used to have some slow dudes running around on the football field. There's no slow guys anymore.
No, there aren't, and a lot of it's because SEC's supplying them. Those kind of players. That's the thing that I know. Like when Ron Zook went to Illinois, and I called him about a story I was doing, and he said, "I said, what's the biggest difference in the Big Ten?" He goes, "Defensive line. Defensive line in that league in the SEC, you have guys that can run and are big and strong. You don't have that in these other. Now, I think other leagues have caught up a little bit, but." When you watch those NFL games, and you're right, there is no offense in these games. It's almost impossible. And I think a lot of it is because, a lot of people don't want to play their quarterback. The guy who's going to start for them. And the other thing is they don't want to show anything. They don't want to show what they're going to run against in the first game.
Well, I tell you, the player that looked really good yesterday, Josh Dobbs, former Tennessee quarterback. Golly, did he play well. In the game, let's see, what was the game? I got so enamored with him.
Yeah, I got watching so many games. I'm with you. I'm trying to remember who he played.
It's his first year with the team.
Yeah.
New Orleans played.
Who
did they play? San Francisco. My Niners. Yes, my Niners. Yeah. And Purdy played like one possession, didn't do anything. Yeah. And they put Josh Dobbs in there. And I mean, his passes were accurate, and he scrambled, made some plays. And, man, it would surprise me. Everybody said he's playing for the backup job. Shoot. He played better than the starter last night. And so Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, he was with the Steelers for a while.
He's been around. Yeah.
Started some games for them as well. So, he's a good player. Obviously, we saw what he did to Florida that one year. One of the few years that Tennessee beat Florida was that was McElwain's second or third year. I can't remember. But anyway, he lit them up. There's no doubt about it. I know you watched some golf this weekend too. That was fun. I watched a lot of it.
Yeah, that was an interesting tournament from Memphis. I told you my Memphis story. I love Memphis. I told Pat I played my last high school game in Memphis. It was baseball, and we won the state championship, so that was a good memory. And my last game ever as a head coach was in Memphis. Orlando Apollos. We beat the Memphis Showboats. It was their nickname. So anyway, we're fortunate to do that. And then I won a Liberty Bowl there in South Carolina. Yep. So Memphis has been good to me and my family.
My memories aren't as good as I was there twice. One time I got food poisoning in the press box, and the second time I got robbed.
Oh Lord!
So
downtown?
Yeah, somebody pickpocketed me.
Oh, pickpocket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And next thing I know, I went to the bathroom and there was my wallet sitting in there, just my wallet with nothing in it.
Well, did he take your driver's license and all that? Or
no, he left my driver's license so I could get on the plane. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually borrowed money from Fred Bullard, who was the owner of
the Jacksonville team.
Bulls. Yeah. So I could get home. Yeah. So my memories aren't quite as good as yours are of that. But
Memphis.
That was a lot of fun to watch that. Billy Horschel making it to the next level of the tournament of the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, Billy's had a pretty good year. He's had a good year. He's been in contention. British Open, he was up there, finished top 5, I think, something like that.
So who would be your all right? So Scheffler has won the Masters, the Players, and a gold medal. Schauffele's won 2 majors.
Ooh, player of the year.
That's a tough player of the year battle there, isn't it?
That is. Yeah, they'll be 1 and 2. Interesting. Both of them name got FF in it, right in the middle. Schauffele and Scheffler.
It's like Seltzer and
yeah.
Salter, you know.
Yeah, those two will be up for it. That's I got to think Scotty Scheffler's won a few more tournaments that he may get
He's
the
won
nod
6. Yeah,
this year. Yeah.
And Schauffele's only won 2, and both of them were majors, though. So I don't know. I like when Schauffele won the last major, I thought, well, that probably locks up Player of the Year. But then Scheffler wins a gold medal, and you're like, and cries on the stand. And you know people are gonna. That's gonna be a big part of it too.
Yeah. Scotty Scheffler has really been the number one player in the world. Yeah,
His
proved it.
distance control on irons is just amazing to watch. Like everything is pin high. Every shot. I mean, if it may be 2 feet to the left, it may be 8 feet to the left, or maybe 9 feet to the right. Whatever. It's pin high every time. Every shot he hits.
Yep, he's pretty good. There's no question about that. All right, what else is happening before the ball game Saturday?
Well, we got to get ready. Yeah, we got to get ready for football. And I mean, obviously, there's only one decent game. We didn't know how good it'll be on the first Saturday, but FSU is playing Georgia Tech, and that'll be interesting. Georgia Tech's one of your old schools. You coached there.
Yeah, I was there 1 year at Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Yeah. We played the Gators down here to a 7-7 tie. How about that? We blocked, our guy blocked a field goal right
Lawrence Lowe.
Lawrence Lowe
Yep.
jumped up. Gosh, he was way up in the air.
He was. We had a
Blocked
picture of
field.
it. We didn't get the picture till like 2 days later.
Yep.
And we ran it in the Jacksonville Journal when I was working there. And I said, this is the greatest picture of all time. But you could see how high he got up to block that kick. And nobody knew at the time that was going to be the highlight of the year for Florida was a tie. It was not good.
That was the winless year, wasn't it?
Well,
Yep.
10-1.
Charlie Pell. Yep.
And I hear this all the time from people. They say, hey, you know, we were 10-1. We still filled the stands. Like, you didn't. I've looked up the numbers. It's not even close.
No.
You had like 48,000 for a couple of games. So don't tell me that. But I know Gator fans are excited about this season coming up. They're fired up about it. And,
I think so.
Yeah.
And the national writers and so forth are not high on us, but they're not high on a lot of teams that have a chance. My Gamecocks, my former team, they're not picked very high. In fact, they're picked about 15th in this poll here, so they're down near the bottom. Vandy is the bottom team though.
Yeah.
Nobody has surpassed them yet, and I think Mississippi State will play a lot better than what they 16 or so, 15.
yeah,
I think
most people have them 15 or 16.
Yeah, I think they're going to surprise some people. Mississippi State. I think their offense will play well and beat some people.
Well, they got that guy out of there, and that was I don't know what they were thinking there with hiring Zach Arnett to replace Leach. And again, it was a shocking situation. That's got to be hard, but it just clearly you could see all year he wasn't the right guy for the job. And they, I will say this, they made the move on him and went and got a guy who knows a little bit of something about offense. They were enjoying that part when they had a good offense, you know.
Yeah, Jeff Levy is from an offensive background, head coach, play caller. Not many of those guys left, but there's a few still out there. And, I mean, he got the job because he's good at offensive coordinator position. So we'll see how it plays out. I say that because I watched their spring game.
Yeah.
One Saturday they were flipping around, and so I watched about a half or so, and he was running their whole stuff for the spring game, and they were going up and down the field against their defense. So anyway, it'll be fun watching that team.
All right, so you got Alabama winning it all. You like Kalen
The conference. I got them winning the conference.
Yeah.
I don't know about it all, but
I don't think any of us know
they in Georgia,
about it all now because this 12-team playoff. Can you imagine if you had a 12-team playoff? That would have been a lot. You'd have been in it almost every year.
Pretty soon they're going to have articles on what team has the most players driving cars that cost $100,000. I hear we got a couple maybe now. I hear a couple of our guys got some new wheels.
Yeah, they do.
But,
they do.
What a different day it is, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It is wild and weird. It is. It's just kind of. But again, you got a choice. You can either say, "Well, I'm never watching football again." Okay, we'll miss you. But or you can say, "Hey, you got to get better at it. You got to do a better job at it."
That's right. What's fair for one team's fair for all. Unlimited to pay players and so forth. And you got to really, I think, handle it the correct way. And I think Georgia does a good job, I mentioned, of paying their players to where they all still love each other. If one guy's getting all the money and all the linemen not getting very much, they could say, I think we need to negotiate again, Coach. But anyway, it's if everybody's happy and playing as a team, then you got something to go on.
Absolutely, yeah. Before we get to our Campus USA Play of the Weekend, I did want to ask you about another legacy commitment for Florida, getting Ben Hanks' son. And my wife was saying, hey, Steve Spurrier is still affecting Florida football because all these guys, Ernest Graham, Thaddeus Bullard, his son is on the team, Willie Jackson's son, and now Ben Hanks' son. So they're coming at it. I mean,
it's good to see players that played here influence their sons a little bit. I know they tell them, you go the best place that you want to go. Hopefully for us, it's University of Florida, but you got to make the call. And I think all these young men made the call on their own. And, when you think about it, University of Florida academically, we're number one in the nation, public university. And to get a degree from here, job opportunities are just better than degrees from other schools. So sell that, and we had 2 or 3 guys graduate the end of the last semester. And I found something the other day, Pat, that I'm starting to brag about when I go make talks. We had 159 players that made the all-academic selection teams in the 90s. 159. What school? We were first in the SEC. What school do you think was second in graduating players?
Vanderbilt.
Nope, they didn't have. They weren't second. Alabama was second.
Yeah.
Alabama. Total number.
Yeah.
Vandy they may have had most of their guys graduated, but we were first, and then Alabama, and then it was down the line there.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So we might have been 2 of the winningest teams of the 90s also. So that it goes hand in hand, I think.
It does, yeah. And I've always told people that, look, college football team is the front porch of your house. And so when people see a beautiful front porch, they want to go in it, in the house. So, all right, let us move on to our Campus USA Play of the Weekend, and I know it's getting a lot of airplay all over the place, and especially on Twitter. But I don't know what would you say if you one of your quarterbacks did that with a backward pass?
He planned that. Now, I like that, and it's incomplete if it doesn't go. So he did do it forward. I was just thinking you could run a sweep and flip it behind your back, but if it hits the ground, it's a lateral. See, he's going forward there, so that's no big deal. If it doesn't hit, it's like that, a little bit like that.
But he said that Andy Reid told him to try it in a game because he tries it in practice all the time. But again, it's a preseason game. If he does that in the fourth quarter and it gets picked off, everybody's losing their minds. But it was pretty fun, and it was certainly interesting.
Had a nice hole. It was a well-designed play. Well-designed play, and so forth.
So that is our Campus USA Play of the Weekend. We appreciate Campus USA for being a sponsor, and Coach Spurrier is also a spokesman for them, and that's where I bank, so we appreciate them. All right, we'll let Coach go. We'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't. Our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And it's always a great pleasure on Mondays to bring in Robbie Andrew to play Yes, Nowhere, or Maybe. Robbie, how was your weekend?
Good, Pat. How was yours?
It was great. I tell you, that Friday, Saturday, no humidity. The hurricane, I guess, sucked it away. And it was beautiful to be out. I played golf both days.
Yeah, that felt good in the morning. I mean, there was a little breeze. There was no humidity. It kind of almost felt like a little bit of fall, a little early fall.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's football season. Yeah.
God
and it
knows
is
what's going on.
It is football season. So I know you're excited about that. We're ready. We're ready to watch some games, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that noon kickoff with FSU and Ireland at Georgia Tech.
What if they played Ireland? Who would win that game?
Well, it depends on what brand of football they played. If they played real football, soccer, Ireland would win.
I don't know. The women are pretty good at FSU. So
That's true. They are.
All right, it's time for us to play Yes, Nowhere, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. And we are coming to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line with Robbie Andrew. And, of course, if you go there and tell them that you listen to the podcast, you get free fries with your order of whatever you get. All right, ready. Robbie, are you ready?
I'm ready, Pat.
All right, number one on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. You are looking forward to the Sam Darnold era.
That's a tough question, Pat. I'm going to go ahead and say yes because I am a Vikings fan. So start of a new year. I wish he wasn't a quarterback, but you know he was a highly rated guy coming out of college. Now he's going to be in an offense that's good with a coach that's very quarterback friendly. So maybe they can get him playing like he's capable of playing. He's got great receivers to throw to. So
he's got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, not because of him, just because it's the Vikings starting the season, and you're hopeful at the beginning of the year. So.
Okay, that's the best answer you could have given.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'll just tell you that.
Well, you don't have an NFL team anymore.
I have multiple NFL teams. Whoever's playing the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Whoever's playing the Bucks.
Yeah. What about the Jags?
Whoever's playing the Jaguars and Chiefs. I like the Chiefs.
So you've got one team that you like, and the others are all negative rooting.
Yeah, well, I'm going with the Bianchi theory of. I always tell people you're a fan of the team that just won the world championship. So
yeah. I mean, Pat, you've jumped on the bandwagon. They could win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
I hope they do. I do like the Chiefs. It's really hard for me to get past the tomahawk chop, but I love Andy Reid and I love Patrick Mahomes, so I'll root for him.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same way. But you're a Braves fan, Pat, so you've got to live with a chop.
I don't like it with them either. I mean, I did the chop one time. I can't remember what. It was a Chiefs game, I think. I said, I guess I'll do it. And I was nah. And it felt dirty afterwards, Well,
if you'd done it in an FSU game, you should feel real dirty.
I would. You would know then that I have got Alzheimer's. Okay.
Yeah. So if on Saturday at around 1:30, if you start doing the tomahawk chop during the game with Georgia Tech, there's something wrong.
No, that's not happening. I got to figure out. I got to sing I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer.
I've always loved that song.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe I can get that in my head.
Number 2 on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. Robbie, now that the WNBA is back playing, I just wanted to ask you this one question. You know the nickname of the team in Minnesota?
The Timberwolves. No. No, I don't. I have no idea, Pat.
Come on, man. Your
I
team.
can't. I can't
They're
even
not your
name
team.
I can't even name the Indiana team with what's her name, Caitlin Clark. I can't remember their nicknames. So
Fever. They're the Fever.
Oh, the Fever.
Yeah.
I got the fever.
I get the Fever
I'm hot.
for some
I
more.
can't be stopped.
Caitlin Clark.
That would be a big fat no on that one, Pat.
All right, it's the Minnesota Lynx with a Y.
I've had no clue.
I guess
Sorry.
there are a lot. Are there a lot of lynxes in Minnesota?
I don't know. There are a lot of walleye fish. I know that.
I guess it's just like there are no Vikings in Palatka either.
No, that's true. Yeah, our junior college. I don't know where that came from.
Leif Erikson sailed up to St. John's to conquer Palatka. Yeah, I guess the way it worked. All right, finally, Robbie, serious question here.
Okay.
Florida's defense, which has been historically bad for 4 years in a row, will finish in the top 30 in total defense after this season.
I'm going to say maybe, Pat, because I think they're going to be much improved. But when you look at some of the offenses they're going to be going against, it might be hard to finish in the top 30, but they're still going to be markedly better than a year ago, I think. And I think that they're going to be better coached, and I think they have better players and better depth, so they should be better.
They got
top
a lot
30,
of.
it's a maybe just because they're going to be facing a lot of great quarterbacks and offense.
Yeah, I mean you got to go against Carson Beck and.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're going to be better. I'm pretty positive about that.
Boy, I am almost looking forward to Overreaction Monday next week. Week
Oh
from
yeah,
today,
of course.
when everybody's going to go one way or another. And look, if Florida wins, people are going to go, they should be a top 10 team. We're going to win the whole thing. And if they lose, they're going to go, when's Napier getting fired? That is literally the only two camps people will be.
I know. And Pat, with the season coming up, it reminds me of when they beat Utah in his first game, Billy's first game. He sent out the warning after the game. You know, they're not the great Florida Gators right now, but, it's a good win. But I think that was he knew where the program was then. He knew there was a lot of work ahead. So he was trying to temper it then, but nobody paid any attention to that.
All right. If you want to hear more, Robbie Andrew, join us on the tailgate on Wednesday, where he'll be filling in for Jeff Cardozo, who's got a speaking engagement. So look forward to.
He's got one of your engagements.
He does. I've given him kind of my long distance ones. I don't want to do that anymore. But it's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun, Pat. I look forward to it.
All right. We'll see Robbie then.
Okay, Pat.
Okay, so let's appreciate Robbie for being on the show as always. And let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Of course, Hesser and Kipke, a Gainesville firm here for your needs in family law or workers' compensation. Call or text Ken and Jennifer 24/7 at 352-339-9920. Hesser and Kipke, nearly 50 years of combined legal experience and about to celebrate their 5th anniversary in January. We appreciate Hesser and Kipke. Of course, let's get to the 3 things. Number 1, I saw where Jordan Spieth, I was just checking the bottom of the golf standings from the FedEx. And, of course, it's part of the FedEx Cup, too. And Jordan Spieth shot 9 over. Was it 9 over? I'm trying to look at, 9 over. I'm like, what in the world is going on there? Well, it turns out he is done for the year. He is going to go have wrist surgery. Well, of course, when you finish next to last, you're probably not going to make it. Probably not going to advance. But so he's having wrist surgery, and he's done for the year. And that's I hope this works. I hope maybe it solves some of his problems. The golf tour is so much better, the PGA Tour, with Jordan Spieth being in contention. You need Spieth, you need McIlroy, you need some of the bigger names to be in contention all the time. If not, I tried to, again, watch a Live Tour event this week, and I just got bored with it. It's not what I want to watch. I want to watch the tour. I don't care who's not on it. I only care who's on it. We need Spiethy out there. All right, let's get to our number 2 on the Hesser and Kipke 3 things. And you may have seen this earlier. It was last week earlier, or it was late last week. earlier than this. That ESPN, again, cutting costs, and they've been doing that a lot. This is why this is so weird in that they paid Pat McAfee all this money, paid all these other people to be on his show a lot of money. I think Belichick's getting like money, and Brady's getting money, and all these people are getting all this money. Anyway, Saban was getting, not Belichick, Saban was getting, I think, $1 million for being on there every week. But with all that going on, they have let people go left and right. Some of them I have known, are friends of mine, and you feel bad about it. But the latest, RG3, of course, Heisman Trophy winner, got let go, as did Sam Ponder, of course, Christian Ponder's wife, who was doing a lot of NFL stuff, but she wasn't doing a whole lot. And I think that maybe they thought, and she was making a ridiculous amount of money, like $3 million a year, to do one show. And so, but anyway, they were spending a ridiculous amount of money on some people. I'm not a fan of RG3. There have been times when I listen to him and I don't like him. There have been times when I listen to him and I do like him. But it didn't bother me. You know, if they let go of Booger or let go of Marcus Spears or there are people on that state, McElroy. There are people on ESPN that I really like and respect their opinions. Jay Billis, people like that. There are others that I just don't care what they have to say. He's one of them for me. But anyway, they're making more of these moves. Number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. It has been a rough camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, you know, who of course hot seat or not, I don't know. They don't like to fire coaches. We know that. But it couldn't have gone much worse this year. So they get 2 experienced quarterbacks, and they both stink, in Fields and Russell Wilson. Neither one has been very good. And they're trying to block them with backups because they've already lost one guy for the year and now another guy for the year. The latest is their center, Nate Herbig, who tore his rotator cuff. So he's probably out for the year. It has not gone well for them, for the Steelers. And, hey, look, I don't really have any strong feelings about Pittsburgh is one of those teams that's in that gray area for me. Like I either have teams I love or hate, and then there's that gray area teams. Pittsburgh's one of those gray area teams. I don't really know how I feel about them. The Packers are the same way. Like I like the Falcons. I like the Chiefs. I like the Dolphins. There are a lot of teams I don't like, though. Maybe I need to get that out of my life. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let us get to our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. We're about due to pull a winner. So maybe, maybe Thursday I'll go ahead and pull a winner. And then we'll be ready for football season. Because the quick picks are going to be so much more fun when we get to football season. You know that. We appreciate Kyle, though, for sponsoring it. We're going to give you a baseball game being played Wednesday night. And the reason we're giving it to you, it's an important game. But more than that, I want to make sure everybody has time to get in. And then we'll do a drawing Thursday. And we'll send you a copy of, I don't know what I'm going to send you. I know I'm going to send you $25 from Leonardo's at Millhopper. And I may send you a Bob Dooley hat. Or I may send you a Patrick Young book. I'm running low on books, so I'm going to have to find something to send you. But you'll get 2 things. I may start changing it, though, so that it's easier to mail. So I don't have to go to the post office every time I want to mail books. But I may start changing that up. All right, let us get to our quick pick, and that is Philadelphia at Atlanta. Look, it's nut cutting time. That's the bottom line here. You guys, you want to poop or get off the pot? It's time, man. Can I use any more tasteless cliches here? It's time, guys. You want to try to win the division? You want to make sure you get in the wild card? Big series coming up. We're going to give you the Wednesday night game, Philadelphia at Atlanta. Give me a winner. And those of you who don't pick the Braves, I will remember it for the rest of my life. although I might pick Philadelphia too. Anyway, that's our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. Let's get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. And it was Billy Horschel was our Gator of the weekend, who I enjoyed watching him all weekend. They showed him every once in a while. I mean, you never know what you're going to get with Billy. For a guy who's won 8 tournaments, is still not that big a name on the tour. So just because he's in contention doesn't mean you're going to see a lot of him. But he really was never threatening the lead. It was more that he was in contention. But he played well, and he played well enough to advance. The top 50 players now go on to the next site, which is in Colorado. Look forward to that. And I think he made it right on the number. I know that he's excited about qualifying again. I think he shot 67 on the last day. Qualifying again for the FedEx Cup, I guess you call them semifinals. Yeah. So Billy Horschel is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. I texted him yesterday. Yes, I did. Told him what a great week it was. Couldn't wait for this week. And it gives us something to watch, too. Another thing to watch. So that is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. Let us move to our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today. All right, so you may have seen this if you watched the golf this weekend. I saw it live when it happened, and I said, oh, Hugh Cain, Mayhem moment. This is Sam Burns. There's his drive, there's his throw, and guess what he did? Snapped his driver in half. And by rule, if you throw your club in anger, you can't replace it till the next day. So he had to play the whole back 9 without a driver. And he still played good enough, and he's still in. He did really well. I don't know why he was so mad, but he did yank this thing left. Now, I will say this. I only broke one. Well, I broke 2 drivers in my life. That's right. I forgot. But I've done it in both in anger. One of them was when I was in high school. In fact, I still have the scar. In high school, I broke a club, grabbed it by its by the jagged end of it, and slammed it against a tee marker. And I still have the scar right here. Robbie had one where he broke it and then threw the jagged end and sliced up his whole hand. We were not the only other one I had was maybe 15 years ago at. It was at the Ocala Muni. It's a nice course down there, by the way. And I threw my driver and it broke, and I was not happy that I broke it. I love that driver. Of course, I also loved the driver that I used to have, or that I have right now. I loved it for a while, and now I don't love it. I hate it. It's not doing the things it's supposed to do. Hit the ball straight a long way. No, it's going, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, that is our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. Can't wait for football season again. Well, that'll be a lot of fun to have some mayhem moments, and we'll have some easy ones. We'll get Zach to be on the lookout for those, too, where we just see something happen in a game and go, oh, I got your mayhem moment. All right, let's get to our Swamp Games of the Weekend. Of course, Swamp Restaurant, we appreciate their sponsorship of our Games of the Weekend, which, again, is about to get more exciting. Well, these are actually the games of the week. We'll do the games of the weekend on Thursday. But, yeah, that'll be a lot more fun when you're saying, and there's football. Here's the games you have. But we're just going to give you what we can give you right now, and which is the Swamp Games of the Week. Philadelphia at Atlanta. Now, I gave you that as a pick'em game for the Leonardo's Quick Picks, but this is the Tuesday game, is actually on TBS. The Wednesday game is not on TBS, but you can probably find it somewhere. But the Tuesday game is at 7:20. I'll be all in on that. I can promise you that. And then the Wednesday, you have Milwaukee at St. Louis at 7:45 on FS1. Also that night, you have Minnesota at Las Vegas at 9:30 on ESPN, the WNBA. So Luckily, it is the Minnesota Lynx that are playing in the game. And I know that. They're playing the Las Vegas. I think they're the Aces. If I got 2 WNBA teams right.
It is.
So that means I got 3 right today because I had the Fever earlier. Wow. I'm proud of myself. So that game's at 9:30 on ESPN if you want to watch that. And then just to let you know, the BMW tournament, which is the next step in the FedEx Cup, is on Thursday at noon, which is after we'll be doing the show. But Thursday at noon, noon to 5, if you want to watch that, of course, out in Colorado. And then it goes over to NBC for the weekend. We'll talk about that on Thursday. All right, that's going to do it for another show. And thanks to Zach for doing a great job, as always. And we'll get back with you on Thursday. Can't wait to talk to Wayne Peace on that day as well. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back. And I am out of here.